there's this level of stupidity, and it spreads because they don't have to, all they have to say is Trump is Hitler. And their followers will be like, well, maybe he is Hitler. But then if anyone actually paid attention in history class, they'd be like, he's not anything close to Hitler.
Tyrus absolutely rips apart woke Whoopi Goldberg and The View for their blatant ignorance and constant lies. He holds nothing back as he exposes their biased agenda and how they twist the Hitler narrative to fit their feelings, showing just how out of touch and incompetent Whoopi and her crew really are. Let's dive into Tyrus shredding The View and their woke nonsense.
So The View, he could see Donald Trump's victory from a mile away. It's the same thing he said about Joy Behar. She's fat. Big lady. As a result of Trump's victory, the Dow Jones surged 1,500 points this week. Nancy Pelosi made so much money, she put a down payment on a new face. Pop star Madonna ate a cake that said F Trump. Meanwhile, Chris Christie ate a cake that said cake. Richard Gere, the actor, has sold his Connecticut home for $11 million after revealing that he's leaving the United States.
Here it comes.
Good. And don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. It'll wake the gerbils. It's going to be on his tombstone. What's he going to do? Rachel Maddow is being mocked for warning the U.S. that it was headed for an autocratic government. She's also being mocked for her startling resemblance to Hawaii detective Steve McGarrett. Yeah, her safe word is book 'em, Dano.
These people on these channels, when this worked for a while, right? This worked for a while where they had their highest viewership talking about Trump and all these bad things are going to happen and the walls are closing in.
Yes.
The walls haven't, obviously, is reelected. So, but that's kind of worked for them for a while. So that's why they're doing it. Division and this kind of fear mongering, it makes money. Mm-hmm. It's far more interesting to say that on TV than it is to say Trump won, but it's probably going to be fine. Yeah. People tune in for, so I'd say look at motivations of things.
Yeah.
Folks, I gotta say, this is a wild point, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. But honestly, I think legacy media created the very monster that ended up destroying them. When they went all in trying to hype up Trump as the ultimate villain, constantly pushing this over-the-top narrative, they ended up radicalizing their own audience. Their viewers got addicted to that nonstop cycle of outrage. Trump this, Trump that, 24/7 hate. So now that's the only thing they even want to see. They're not tuning in for real news or honest conversations anymore. They're there for the rage bait, the clickbait, and networks like CNN, MSNBC. They back themselves into a corner. Whether they meant to or not, they built their entire business model around anti-Trump content. And the second Trump was out of office in 2020, their ratings plummeted. Why? Because they had nothing left to say. When they tried to pivot back to actual news, crickets. Viewers didn't care. So the moment Trump announced he was running again, boom, they jumped right back on the bandwagon. And just like that, their views shot up again. Because that's all they know how to do now. They've trapped themselves in a cycle. If it's not Trump, they can't pull numbers. They can't even keep the lights on. So now the only way they survive is by obsessively talking about Trump. It's not journalism anymore. It's a circus. Hit that like button. I appreciate you all. And let's get back to it.
Walls are closing in, but it's the wall on our border. See what I did there? And I got applause.
If you wanted me to clap for you, you could have just asked.
Yes. What about that, Tyrus? The fact that, okay, we always have to begin every time I ask. You called this early on. You said the polls were BS, but do you believe that it was artificially made close because of what Kat was saying to keep the money flowing?
No, I think the problem is that we have an elite group of narcissistic morons. So, no, I wish that was a joke, but it's not. They don't. To go on TV every day to objectively talk about something, you have to study, you have to research the pros and cons. And both candidates, you should find things you like, things that concern you. It's called doing work. That's why all the old journalists look so old, because they smoked cigarettes and stayed up all night checking sources and this, that, whatever. When you get The View, who are like, I don't have to think anything. I don't like them, and I'm rich, so you shouldn't like him either. And I can say anything because no one's going to check me. I surround myself with people. They'll have one puppet Republican who was scared to death to say anything against them, or if she does come out, they'll interrupt her nonstop. So there's this level of stupidity, and it spreads because they don't have to. All they have to say is Trump is Hitler. And their followers will be like, well, maybe he is Hitler. But then if anyone actually paid attention in history class, they'd be like, he's not anything close to Hitler.
Yeah.
There is no other Hitler. Hence why we know who Hitler is.
Yeah.
Because there's just an ignorance and it's an arrogance to where I can just say whatever I want to. Then they get caught. And they can't say, I have been wasting network money lying to you. So they have to double down and go even stupider.
Yeah.
And keep saying things like, I only watch because of the clips. You force us to watch The View.
I do.
He does. He does. He's like, yeah, you predicted it. Good job. Guess who's watching The View for a month? So Kat's baby's gonna come out and be like anti-Sunny. But as you watch them, you see them just age and cringe because they get caught up in their lives. So what do? The new word is misogynistic. And guess what? Their only mistake was they blamed white men. They forgot that black men, Hispanic men, and Asian men too. So that's the new thing. And then they're like, oh, it's just men. And then they're like, well, 53% of women. Oh, it's stupid women and men. So they'll just keep going till they're down to the only thing you can trust is a penguin. The penguins, they get it because they're running out of people to blame.
Yes.
So this is fun because they just keep it going, keep it going. Next thing we hear is apparently the extraterrestrials also voted for Trump. So it's a long line of just stupidity because you don't have to practice or educate yourself to be stupid.
Yeah, folks, like Tyrus said, this is just stupidity doubling down on itself. I love how now they've got lawyers stepping in like, oh, hey, I'm legally required to read this statement because everything I said last week was complete. Nonsense, and now I'm getting sued for it. That's where we're at. And honestly, that might be the only thing that actually works. Suing these people into oblivion. That might be the only way to stop Whoopi Goldberg and the rest of the clowns on The View or anyone else like them from spreading garbage nonstop. Because as Tyrus pointed out, they're not stopping. They just keep repeating the same talking points, not based on facts, but on feelings. And until there's a real consequence, they're going to keep doing it. Whether it's MSNBC, CNN, The View, Washington Post, doesn't matter. Unless someone starts holding them accountable, they'll just keep pumping out lies and propaganda like it's nothing. And the people who watch them, they'll keep eating it up. Oh, I guess this guy really is that bad. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Except none of it's even real. At some point, someone has to say, look, if you're going to go out there and say this stuff, I'm coming for every last dime. Not for the money, but just to make you stop. Just to shut down the nonsense. That's the only thing that's even making a dent. Anyway, let me know what you thought about Tyrus going in on Whoopi and The View. Drop a comment below. And, man, I gotta say, I feel bad for Tyrus. Having to watch The View every day for a month? That's borderline torture. Thanks for watching.